Squat day, it's here, and it's time to go beast mode. I hope you're warmed up properly, 10, 15 minutes minimum. I hope you've had your caffeine, because it's time to go beast mode. It's time to push with your squat day, your deadlift day, your leg day. For some athletes, for some body types, and for some ranges of motion, a lot of them, squats are not the best for you. Squats is not something that's, people get bored with that, but you squat. Everyone squats, but a lot of people still have knee issues. But a lot of people have underdeveloped quads, and a lot of people still aren't seeing their goals. They're not seeing their goals manifest. So what we need to do is have a list of different very effective leg exercises for your leg day. You want to mix it up so you can stay entertained, but also there's muscles you're not activating because for your body type, your calves are tight and you never knew that was going to affect your quads, or your hamstrings are real thin. It's a thin muscle and they're not activating properly. So there's a list of exercises I'm going to show you that these leg exercises might even be better than squats. You got to try these out. See if you can apply them to your leg day and see which ones get a better burn. Try these once and you might say, my legs were dying so much more than when I go heavy on the squats because of that one new exercise I tried. That's important for you to mix it up, and let's try these. You have got to try this, is your split lunge, split squat. So what it's important to know is that when you're working the muscles, when you're working the legs, one muscle is gonna flex, but the opposite muscle on the other side, your hamstrings, maybe your hip flexors, it has got to stretch. One of each is happening at the same time. So one issue with people have with their squats is that when they go down, their hamstrings, their hip flexors, they're so tight, they won't allow you to stretch in the way that they need to. So we have to practice deeper ranges of motion, and that's what this split lunge is all about. See, with my leg collapsed as much as it is right here, that's really stretching my quad. But if I'm activating my glutes like I should be, it's really stretching the top of my quad where the hip flexors are at. Now, of course, we're working that front leg. So when we're coming up and down, we're definitely working that front leg, but if you stay upright, you're gonna be working your hip flexors and your quads in a range of motion and accessing more muscle fibers than you can't normally do on a squat because of tightnesses and mobility issues. So it's important to do this because afterwards, when your quads are burning and you're like, I'm building a ton of muscle, you're gonna know that, wow, okay, I need to make this a staple in my leg day. Who knew that there was muscles there? I'm sore in places I never was before. You gotta work outside of the squat. You gotta work outside of the deadlift, and a lot of times you're gonna find muscles and results that you didn't even know were there. Another alternative to your heavy squat day or your deadlift day is a safety bar squat. Now here in my gym, I'm alone. So what we're gonna do is load up the safety bar. One of the biggest benefits is that you don't need hands. You don't need hands. They have it balanced in a way that you don't, if I have a tight chest from chest day yesterday and I can't reach that bar of my inflexibility, a safety squat's perfect for me. Here that I'm alone, because I'm alone, I can hold on to the handles and I can actually pull myself up with some sort of leverage. But more importantly is I can look down and I can focus on which way my knees are going. And then this way really it lets me iron in my technique so that when you're going heavy on your squat days, you can just do it second nature. But here, the safety squat bar puts the weight in front of me, so I don't need hands for this exercise. And I can watch which way my knees are going. This is important, you don't come in. It's important your ankles don't turn in. So it's super important to add in these other variables so that you can practice. And then your heavy squat day, that could be like game day. Practice, that's every day. Another area in your leg day exercises, you gotta throw this one in, is your lateral movement. So when you're squatting, you're just moving vertically, right? You're just moving vertically. And that's where all the load is because gravity works vertically. But you're only accessing certain muscle fibers, and certain joint ranges of motion are never being used until you lunge and you move laterally, side to side, front to back. So lunges, you can do that whether you're using weight on the shoulders or not, or you have a pair of dumbbells. But to load up a pair of dumbbells in the gym or at home where you got cinder blocks you're carrying, there's so many good options. But to move forward, to fall, and the only thing stopping you from collapsing is these big quads. So to move forward, to fall onto that front leg because you're walking with it, that's gonna cause these quads to tense in a way that squats never would. It's gonna cause this hip flexor to stretch if you're sitting up with it in a way that squats never would. And because you're doing these on maybe your off squat day or a opposed to your heavy squat day, when you come back to heavy squats, because you've been working in added ranges of motion, you're gonna find added strength, you're gonna find added results. Another area where you can make up added results and added strength is to work your single leg strength. Like a step up here, when I'm standing up on this box, it's clear that my quad has to tense and flex at the top to allow me to stand up and lock out. That's what the quads do. But also in the back, you're working that calf to help you stand up properly. And at the very top, when you're standing all the way up, it's working your hip flexors. But it's important to know that if you only ever train 2 legs at once, a squat, a standard 2-leg strength, you're never challenging your single leg strength. And this could be an area where you're giving up strength, you're giving up results. And it's important to build that single leg strength, because a lot of times in life, we're actually only on 1 leg. You're stepping up, you're hiking, you're backpacking, you're running the stairs. This is something you need to have in your bag. You've got to have ready to go, because if your single leg strength is up, your double leg strength might just double.